Now, the sales season is underway in the UK, where millions of people are still indulging themselves with some festive holiday shopping. But little do they know that much of the money they thought they were spending on iconic British products actually goes straight into the pockets of foreign owners. RT's Polly Boyko has the story.
Proud to be British, Brits and tourists alike often pay for their quintessentially British experiences, unaware that they're run by foreign companies. Harrods, the Dorchester Hotel, and even the Queen's grocer, Fortnum & Mason. Do you think that Fortnum & Mason is a British store?
Absolutely, but is it not? Is it owned by the Japanese or something like that?
It's been here for ages, so I assumed it was wholly owned by British people.
It's not.
Oh, never mind.
Everything's multinational these days. Nothing's authentic anymore. It's too bad.
Almost half the companies in the UK are now in foreign hands.
The coalition government in Britain likes to talk about a march of the makers. Well, we can't have a march of the makers if we're selling off all that is good.
Household names like Boots the Chemist, Cadbury's chocolate and Weetabix cereal have all been gobbled up by foreign corporations.
Your traditional bacon butty, hardly imaginable without HP sauce. The name stands for Houses of Parliament. The label even has Westminster on it. But the White House might be more fitting. HP now belongs to Heinz. And as you're spreading your Hartley's jam or your Sun-Pat peanut butter over your morning toast, you might be surprised to learn that these British brands were just bought up by another American company. In fact, even Thames Water, which comes out of every single tap in and around London, now belongs to an Australian company.
Advocates of foreign takeovers say they inject much-needed cash into the British economy.
Recently, we've heard Premier Foods not only selling off Branston pickle, selling off Hartley's jam, Sun-Pat peanut butter, and also closing down some of their Hovis manufacturing. And it's interesting, what's the reaction? Analysts say great news for investors, although it is bleak news just before Christmas for the workforce.
2 years ago, Kraft, the US food giant, swallowed up Cadbury's chocolate. It was a hostile takeover. They slashed 400 jobs and moved production to Poland in the process. But there are those that say that the loss of sweets is the least of Britain's problems.
The loss of control over ports, particularly in this country and around the world, where we had a huge network of good international ports, I think is a very serious matter. The loss of control over our airports, the loss of control particularly over our energy companies, which means decisions about our energy control and supply are not made in London, they're made in Paris and in Berlin.
Or overseas tax havens, such as Zug in Switzerland.
When companies take over, they often move their headquarters away from the UK or look for better advantages in terms of the tax system. A good example of that was Boots the Chemist, which was a company with a head office in Nottingham for 161 years and moved to Zug in Switzerland. Well, we had revenues of around £89 million in corporation tax, and they reduced that then to £9 million. So burden is then placed on the UK taxpayer, either through increases in income tax or VAT or other forms of taxation. It has to be found, and we're the ones paying for it.
Other nations' governments scrutinise every overseas bid. France, for example, argues that it's in their national interest to prevent key technologies falling into foreign hands. So while it's often difficult for a British company to buy abroad, over £30 billion worth of domestic companies made their way into foreign hands last year. Last month, Westminster said that it wouldn't change any laws, but would take a greater interest in foreign acquisitions. The only thing is, by the time they get around to it, there might be nothing left to sell. Polly Boyko, RT, London.